Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at these Zigbee MR16 downlight globes. We'll go through the unboxing and setup, but we're not using any of the native setup here. I'll be pairing these directly to Home Assistant using ZHA. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I release new videos, which is normally every week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, there's some affiliate links in the video description to smart home gadgets that you can buy for your own smart home and support the channel at the same time without costing you any extra. Or you can support the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. Of course, those affiliate links and my Buy Me a Coffee link can all be found on my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So just before Christmas, my in-laws asked me about some smart LED downlight replacements for their theatre room. The light switch in their theatre room is in a somewhat awkward spot. And of course, it'd be nice to be able to kind of see what you're doing when you're settling in to watch a movie and then dim the lights when you start playing the movie instead of having to fumble around in the dark. So while for this video, I'm going to be pairing to Home Assistant using ZHA, my plan for deploying these into their home in production will be slightly different and won't involve Home Assistant at all, but I will talk about that plan a little later on. Now, I will say that it definitely was not easy to find Zigbee MR16 globes, but I did find these on Amazon for $52.98 for a 2-pack. The Amazon title does explicitly say 2-year Zigbee. I'm not entirely sure if there's a difference between regular Zigbee and 2-year Zigbee, but I have tested that I can pair these to ZHA, so I think we're all good there. Now, if you're planning to pick up some of these for yourself, being Zigbee, there's some prerequisites that you're going to need to meet. You are going to need to have a Zigbee network already in place. Whether that's using a Conbi, Nortec, or Home Assistant Sky Connect Zigbee stick, if it's with ZHA, you should be able to follow along here. If you're using another kind of Zigbee network, your mileage may vary. If it's 2-year Zigbee though, apparently these should work just fine. Now, as always, let's take a quick look around the outside of the box before we take a look at these units. On the front of the box, we have smart LED bulb, 16 million colors, works with Alexa, Google Assistant, Samsung If, Mall Genie mobile phone. On the right, a QR code to download the Smart Life app. On the left, some stats. This one is Zigbee, 5 watts, MR16, silver, RGB plus 3000 to 6000 K, and there's some symbols at the bottom as well. On the back, just the same as the front, but a slightly different graphic and layout, a barcode on the bottom, and nothing really additional on the top. So with the outside of the box covered off, let's open it up. I opened up the top flap with a spudger here just so that I didn't tear the cardboard. Once we get the top flaps open, we immediately see the downlight bulb. When I take that out, the only other thing in this box is this little user manual with yet another QR code to download the Smart Life app and some setup instructions. A closer look at the unit itself, and the build quality feels really good. It certainly doesn't feel cheap at all, and the fit and finish all look really good. Now, for demonstration purposes, I have this MR16 pigtail, and I'll just plug that in here like so, and this is how you would normally plug that into the light fitting. In spite of the marking on the base of the globe that it is DC 12 volts, the polarity doesn't seem to matter for 2 reasons. One, from what I can tell, the transformers at the other end of these pigtails connect to output 12 volts AC rather than DC, which I'm guessing then means number 2, that there's a bridge rectifier inside the globe to then handle that AC to DC conversion. So even if the transformer were putting out DC, the rectifier circuit would correct the polarity of the input. So now it's time to pair the downlight. Before we do that though, the Train and Hobby Show is back for 2024, running this year on the 16th and 17th of March at Sandown Racecourse and Entertainment Centre. There'll be makers, arts and crafts, model railway layouts, radio controlled models, ham radio and electronics, computing and home automation, and for the first time this year, we've also got trading cards and pop culture at the Trade and Hobby Show. Not only will there be exhibitors showing off their own hobbies, but there will also be vendors there to help you get started in those hobbies as well. I'll be at the Trade and Hobby Show again for 2024, showcasing smart home gadgets and home automation using Home Assistant. Tickets are already available and it's sure to be a great family day out. We are still looking for exhibitors and sponsors for the Trade and Hobby Show 2024. So if you want to come along and showcase your hobby, promote your hobby-based store, or you just want to showcase your brand to the thousands of families that we're expecting to come through the gates this year, be sure to get in touch or purchase your tickets all via the website trainandhobbyshow.com.au. That's trainandhobbyshow.com.au. And now back to the MR16 Zigbee Downlight. So for the pairing, I have the Hive Apartments here, and I've installed the MR16 Downlight in this top center apartment here. I have my demo instance of Home Assistant up here, and I'm going to head over to the settings menu here and then to devices and services, and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find Zigbee Home Automation and drill in here. Now that I'm in here, I'm going to click on these 16 devices, and I want to click on this add device in the bottom right hand corner. Now, once I've done that, it's going to be searching for the Zigbee device, and it does say here to make sure that our devices are in pairing mode. Now, as far as I know, the device actually isn't even powered on. So I'm going to need to power it on and make sure that it is in pairing mode. So I'll turn that on and then off and then on and then off and then on. And I think we should now get flashing. There we go. So we've got flashing in a cool white, and it has already completed the interview and it's configuring the light. So we see here that we've got TSO505B. We see some of the things it supports. So it's got identify, it has light, it has LQI, and it has RSSI. I'm going to change the device name. This one's Downlight 2 because I did some testing with Downlight 1 before, and I'm going to put it into the test room here. Now, if I click on the light here, we see we've got the light controls, and I can grab favorite color 0, which is a warm white, favorite color 1, which is a cool white, favorite color two is a cooler white again, 3 is a much cooler white, go into a blue, a purple, another purple, and a pinky orange there. Our brightness slider is here, so we can grab that, and that's nice and responsive. It's moving up and down really well there. Our power off and on is working really well, and we can grab our color slider here and go to a blue, a green, a red, and that's all working really, really well. And again, I noticed that we're getting this live feedback as I grab this slider and kind of drag it around the outside of the color wheel. I hadn't expected that from ZHA, but it's nice to have that live feedback. I always appreciate that. I'm going to go back to the temperature there and grab our 2000K. So that's our highest setting there, and then our 6535, which is the lowest setting, that coolest setting there. And the 3-dot stack, we've got device info, edit favorite colors, and related. I'm going to hit device info, and that takes us to the ZHA page for the light. And we've got some additional settings in here. So there's the identify, and if we press that, it's just going to make the light pulse off and then on. The LQI is 255 here, and the RSSI is minus 74 dBm. Now, normally by default, these are disabled. So in the cog here, these are normally disabled by default. I paired the first light earlier and I enabled the LQI and the RSSI values here, and it seems to have carried that across to this light as well. So it's interesting that it has done that. I wouldn't normally expect that to happen. But as you can see, it is reacting as we would expect. I think ZHA integration with this should be just fine. So that's the Zigbee MR16 downlight globes. At $53 for a pair, I can't say that they're exactly cheap, but the build quality does feel good. That said, in my first testing with this globe itself, I did see some slightly odd behavior where it would turn itself back on after being turned off, or it would turn itself off for a fraction of a second every now and then come back on fairly frequently. I may try running one of these as a dumb light just to see if it does the same thing, because after I reset this one back to factory, it seemed to behave fine just having power there. It's hard to say at this point if it was a power delivery problem, maybe it was a heat problem, or maybe it was a ZHA problem, but I will be testing them out at my in-laws' house as well to see if the issue continues. It is possible that it's just a ZHA issue with it doing something strange in the background, or maybe I just had bad luck on the first deployment of this and it might be fine the second time around. Now, when I do deploy these lamps at my in-laws, I'm going to do this slightly differently. Instead of overcomplicating everything with setting up a Home Assistant instance on, say, a Raspberry Pi or a virtual machine, putting a Zigbee USB stick there, and then overcomplicating everything for them, I'm looking at a HomeKit enabled Zigbee bridge so that we can just use HomeKit. We've already set up the Miros smart plug that we showed in a previous video and the Aqara G4 doorbell in HomeKit for them. I really want to try to keep everything as simple as possible in their setup until it absolutely becomes impossible for me to keep purely within the HomeKit ecosystem. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. That's all we have for this video, and I do hope that it's helped you in your home automation and smart home journey. Be sure to drop a comment down below with a home automation idea you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Instagram and Facebook. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider changing that now. While you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified when I release new videos, which is normally each week. Lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help to support the channel, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description. Any contribution you make through Buy Me a Coffee does get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Don't forget to check out my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.